Hey everyone, Delegate here. This is a um, tutorial on how to use SWTOR. If you don't know, SWTOR is a streaming slash guide tool which can be used to display the abilities that you use inside the game in a separate window that can be overlaid on top of the game. So let's go ahead and go to the desktop. So I have SWTOR installed here. Let's open this up. And we'll notice that there are two windows that open by default with SWTOR. That's the ability logger window here. This is the one which will display all the abilities that you use inside the game, and the main window down here. So there's actually a third window, and I can cover that just after I've shown you just a basic usage of SWTOR. So I'm just in the game at the moment, and I'm just going to hit the training dummy with Assault. And here we go. So each time I use Assault, that's getting written out to the combat log file, and I'm displaying those back up into a window here that the application picks up on. So yes, let's go to the settings window. So as we can see here, there's different settings that can be used to configure or customize SWTOR. So here we have number of abilities to display, should only be 7. We can change this value to say only display 5 at a time. Exiting combat clears the ability logger window. So if I give this a quick test, I'm just back in the game now. I'm not in combat. I'm just started something on the training dummy. Let's do some things here. And let's just stop doing anything, which would mean that my character should come out of combat in a few seconds. And there we go, it's actually cleared the ability logger window. So yeah, there's many different settings that you can pick here. You can change the font color, the color, to sort of, I guess, make it suit the theme of your streaming profile or your YouTube video guides. Yes, let's move on to the other window, which is the overlay window. The overlay window is pretty much the same thing as the main ability logger window. The only difference really is the fact that this is this enables transparency. So as you can see here, completely transparent. In fact, if you make it so transparent, you can't even select the window. You can only sort of maybe get it here at the bottom and move it around. So adds real transparency. Just add some transparency back and you can move it around again. If you do too much and you get a bit confused, you can always go to the main settings window, and at the bottom here you can actually change the transparency from here as well. You've got that option in case you find the other option a bit too fiddly. The reason that you would probably pick between using the transparent window or the windowed version is depending on how you're recording or streaming. If you are streaming and you are recording from your monitor, then you may want to use the overlay version. If you are actually in the game and you are capturing on OBS via game capture, then what you could do is add the ability logger window as a windowed capture that can be laid on top of the game. You cannot really add the overlay window, the transparent one, because it doesn't work nicely. So this is why there are two versions, one with a color key version that can be used, and an actual transparent window when you are capturing from a monitor's point of view, not from a game's point of view. So let's just quickly cover how to add the ability logger as another source, so that you can have this displayed in OBS whilst you're playing Star Wars. So we can see here that I have my desktop and I have a window capture here. The window capture is actually my SWTOR. So I have SWTOR running here on a window, and this window capture here, if I remove this, and I do something now inside the game, then I only see the output here, but I don't see it in another window. Now, if I can add this as another window capture, let's say cast a demo. There we go, it's actually picked it up as the first window here. So SWTOR caster ability logger. Yes, this is the window that I want to use as a second source. So now we can see that I've actually applied it on top of my scene. If I go back to the game and do another class buff, you'll notice that it's picked that up. The problem though, however, is that it kind of doesn't look that nice, because the whole point is to just sort of have this nice transparent feel to the ability logger window. So what you can do is you can actually add a color key to the ability logger window. In the old version of OBS, it wasn't done like this, but in the new version it's under filters. So we can go to filters, let's add a new filter, and we select color key here. So let's say this color key should map to the same color that is used on the background of the ability logger window. So by default that's black. So if we go here and we change this to a custom color and we select that color key, let's pick the color from the screen, that color there, and there we go, it's actually removed it. So you can see immediately straight away that now this window is transparent. So up here, there you go, we can no longer see the background, which is perfect. So you could apply the same technique to having the game as a game capture, and that would be transparent inside the game. Now if we do another buff up here, we can notice that works great. There is a problem, however, with picking dark colors, some reds, some oranges, with Star Wars, because as soon as you set that as a color key, you've essentially said to OBS that this color is now the same as the color of transparent. So an example would be, now if I use Frenzy, that the background of Frenzy has turned completely transparent. And that is a problem, because that's the actual ability icon. We don't really want to change the ability icons. We just want to change the background of the actual logger window itself. Each class is different. Healer classes have a lot of greens. Mini classes have some reds and oranges. Some utility, different classes have different colors. So picking a color can be hard. However, I found that magenta is a good color for most classes, but if you only main one class or stream or make video guides for a particular class, then you can always change the color key for that instance, and that should fix the icons for you. So if I go back to my settings here and change the background color to something slightly less used in abilities, such as this color here, and pick the same color in my filter, you'll notice that it's tried to blend out some of those little artifacts. What you can do is you can play around with this value here, the similarity value and the smoothness value, to sort of make that look as best as we can. You're not going to get it perfect, but playing around with this value will help smooth things out and make it look a little bit nicer. But we'll notice now that if I play the Frenzy again, that the black color hasn't been removed from the icon. Same with Force Camouflage. we can see that black stays black and it's not transparent. But you will notice that some transparency may be visible with the corners of the frenzy icon. Again, it depends on the color that you pick. So yeah, that can be important to set sometimes. Now, say you want to play some sound events with SWTOR. That's possible to do. What we can do is configure SWTOR to play an event or play a sound when I use force camouflage inside the game. So I've got force camouflage here. I've seen it in my combat log. I want to play this file when I use force camouflage. So first I need the ability ID of the ability that I want this to work on. Luckily enough, SWTOR's ability logger window does say you can click this to copy the ability ID to the clipboard. So if I click this now from the ability logger window, I can just paste the ability ID directly in there for me. And I would like to play this on ability activate. So now, with this audio file set, it's enabled, it's playing on the same output device, the default one, and I head over to the game now, and I use force camouflage. Once this is written to the combat log file, there you go, Spooky's played. Oh, 1 second, guys. Let me just update the filter inside the game's source of OBS of SWTOR, just to keep that consistent with the other version. So yeah, that's a example of using the events and sounds with SWTOR. You can do different ones here, such as being revived, or if you've killed an enemy player maybe, or you've died, or you've come out of combat, or you've entered combat. You can add many different audio ones here. Let's disable that now and go over to the ability settings. So the ability settings can be used for... Let me just close this a little bit. It's taking up a bit too much room. The ability settings can be used to change the aliases used by certain abilities. So as an example, force camouflage, or even some mounts have some very long names. And what we can do is we can try our best to maybe even remove them, or just change the name. So maybe you don't like the ability name force camouflage, or you want to add a funny ability name in, then you can do that. So the way we do that is we click add alias, and we add inside the aliases list here, just say maybe camo. In fact, it's probably not the best one to use because there's a long cooldown on that. So if I go back here and I do an assault, just my standard attack, and I click this and copy that ability ID back over here, and I just say, just an example, 1, and then maybe add another one here, 2, 3, different aliases, and 4. This is enabled, it's enabled here. So if I head back to the game now and I use assault, there we go. We can see straight away that it's picked up 1, 1, assault, 1, 2, assault, 1, 2, 3, there we go. So there is a chance that one of the aliases can also be displayed. You can also change the standard icon that gets used for that ability with your own image if you'd like to. So again, there we go. We have a troll image being displayed here with assault. You can change that to anything you like, obviously. if you use a very big image, then the image may be very skewed. So I would pick something with the same size as a standard ability icon, which is just around, I guess, 32 pixels by 32. Um, so that is an example of the abilities setting. Another, or well, the last setting here we have is the demo settings. Now, the demo settings was really just added so that you can customize the look and feel of different abilities when they get used. So what happens is you can do some things on, let's say, a training dummy. And then instead of having to manually go back inside the game and click around, what you can do is you can pick a combat log file to use. So for me, if I go back to my combat logs here, maybe use this one, it's quite big. I can pick this file, enable demo mode, and what happens is that the SWTOR caster will just read that file, and every second it will just sort of simulate or emulate what's happened inside that combat log. So here you can see that it's picked up quick travel and it's been cleared out, maybe because there was inactivity. So you can use this maybe to configure different abilities settings here and sound settings by being able to sort of click these here and add them quicker than having to go back inside the game and play around with it that way. So that's what the demo setting is used for. Maybe you want to use the demo setting to explain a rotation. So maybe you've already been on the dummy and now you're making a guide on it. You can just sort of play the demo settings on top of your video, and as you talk over it, maybe have these displayed. It's up to you how you'd want to use that, really. So yeah, that's the reason for the demo settings. It's really not a replacement for an actual combat log file, because when you use the demo settings version of a combat log file, if you've waited, say for example, 3 seconds between using two abilities, the combat log file doesn't sort of save that value. So the demo setting just reads each ability with a 1 second apart inside it, really. That's the downside of the demo version, as opposed to just sort of recording real time with it. You can't sync this up with a video with an older combat log file. But again, it's still helpful to configure using your ability settings and sound settings, and maybe even changing the theme of things such as the font and the border. Yep, and that is the short tutorial to using SWTOR caster. If you like SWTOR caster, or you want to check out maybe some other tools, or you want to contribute, you can click the About button inside the main inside the main SWTOR window, and you can contribute to the project here. You can find me on Twitch. You can find Jedipedia with all the data about Star Wars: The Old Republic, loads of information on abilities and models in the game. Same thing again for Tor Community. So you can find Tor Community, torcommunity.com. There's a few other tools inside the Tor Community's website as well. And if you'd like, you can also use my referral link to give me a couple of cartel coins for as a thanks. Cheers, guys.